Welcome everyone. Today I have a new guide for Path of Exile 2 and also a potential important discovery. So looking behind me, you can see those are the amount of currencies and also items I have farmed in the past 2 days. And you can see a greater Jeweler's Orb and also a Divine Orb, lots of Exalted Orbs and a bunch of other orbs. So in this video, what I want to do is you can see I actually prepared a lot of notes to go through with you guys. Make sure you use the timestamps below because there's a lot of important information about the potential of this particular passive node, which is giving me additional chances for perfect jewelers, can potentially lead me to have less chance of finding divine orbs and also other currencies. So this is the most important part. In this video, we'll talk about this and also how some, very well-known streamers and also Path Exile 1 veterans are not using this node. So you can see my friend's screenshot. This is what my friend shared with me. And you can see from some of the popular streamers' node and also choices of others, which we'll go through Fubgun's choices of others. He's not taking this node. And in this video, we'll talk about why this is happening, how this can potentially reduce your chance of getting other loots. And this is important to understand. On the second part, I have prepared some magic find items. A lot of questions has been raised about how powerful magic find can be. I want to go through some potential ways of getting you a quicker magic find setup to help you find better items. So the first part is to avoid reducing a chance of finding divine orbs and also valuable currencies. The second part will help you to boost your chance of finding better items whenever you play the game. And this is very important. I also have some screenshots of my friend's ring. Look at this ring, 59% increased rarity on just one particular ring, which is pretty bonkers, right? So coming over to our first part and also the important part of the guide, let me move my head a little bit so you can see everything fully. So what you can see is local knowledge was the one we actually talked about in one of our previous videos. And in that particular video, I showed you guys this is one of the ways a lot of the popular streamers and so content creators like Darkonas were able to find perfect jewelers self-found. They're not even trading, they're using this to find this one according to the biomes. So depending on the zone of the map, which we now have a very good Excel, so you don't have to check. So previously we'll try to zoom in and check if this is grassland. So here we have a tallied up summary coming from the Twitch streamer Darkonas, and big shout out, thank you for him for sharing. You can see all the maps with different biomes, and you can see what are the maps that is grass, which is quite important because when you perk into local knowledge, this will greatly enhance your chance dropping the socket currencies in the grass biomes or the grass environment. And similarly, you'll be getting a lot more basic currency, which include all the currencies over here in the zone of the swamp and the water biome maps. So this is great, right? So what might be wrong with it, and why are we getting less chance of getting more divine orb? So just off today, one of my friends actually shared this to me on Discord, is that he followed some very experienced Path of Exile 1 content creators who's also playing PoE 2. And they're speculating and also worrying that this particular node may be reducing the chance of finding the currencies when they play the other zones of map. So when they play mountain, forest, and also desert, it is potentially possible that the game actually shift the weight of your item loots of categories 40% increase onto the other ones, which can potentially reduce your chance of finding basic currencies or socket currencies. So this is one of the reasons why players may not be getting more divine orbs or maybe other currencies as expected. Now, this might seem a little difficult to understand. So here I found a little pie chart. Maybe this helps a little bit. So let's say if the proportion of getting currency and also getting gold, socket, and also rares are like this. Now this looks okay, right? But so when you're in a particular biome and you increase the chances, what's going to happen is the chance of you getting those loots will increase, like currencies will increase, which is great. So let's go back to this. But what if you're in the other environment, other biome that is increasing gold, and all of a sudden the chance of getting gold increase? Notice the chance of getting gold increase means even though you're getting better increased loots because of this particular node, and if you're playing the mountain biomes, you might be getting the gold increase, but the other ones are reducing. So this is a bigger factor. So this is what players are a little worried about. And this is something I guess it's hard for us to tell because players coming from Path of Exile 1 are worried that this is a potential thing, right? So credits to Fubgun, and if you haven't seen Fubgun stream, he runs a very strong Deadeye and he has over 400 magic find. And Fubgun actually published one of his build about farming divines with bridge. And what I want to highlight to you guys is, yes, I have the link to his build available. It's actually a really cool build. So what I want to highlight to you guys is notice that in his build, he's not going in with local knowledge because he is a little worried that because it can potentially reduce his chance of finding currencies or socketed items when he's actually playing in the wrong biomes, like the mountains, like the forest, or the desert. So when that happens over here, you can see in the example, let's say if we're in some places where that increase rares, and all of a sudden this one goes up, and the proportion of currency and also socket items might be going down. And this is the biggest warning. So how you want to take away from this, and of course I'm not going to leave you guys with a problem without the solution, right? Local knowledge is still good. It is still good. I have found a perfect jeweler before, and I have found another one after as I'm playing. So you can see I still have local knowledge. But what you want to do is, just to be safe, this might cost you a little bit of gold, but let's say if I'm going to play a map, and let's say, okay, let's try this one. This one has 2 good modifiers with +1/+1. I can juice this up with bridge and also tribute. And before I attempt this map, which I'll share with you guys the tips of going for those maps, before I attempt this map, what I want to do is I want to check whether this is the right biome I needed. So this is the sulfuric caverns. So if we come over to the shared doc Exile, you can see sulfuric caverns is mountain, swamp, desert, and also linear. And you can see the layout of the map. It does not have grass, right? I kind of want grass for the socket items. Swamp is not bad for the potential of getting more currencies, but just to be safe, before attempting this map, what I'll do is I'll come over here, refund the Alice points, and you may be like, why are you doing this map? So you cost me 5,000 gold, I'll refund it, I'll show you guys over here, and I just pack it somewhere else over here so I can do the map. Now I'm going to do a map that is not grassland. But what if I want to do a grassland map? So you just spend 5,000 gold, you refund, and do the grassland. It is not practical if you do this all the time, but if you do a bunch of grassland maps together, and then you do a bunch of no grassland maps together, that is more practical. So you spend 5,000 gold to refund, then you do a bunch of maps that is not grassland, not the swamps you wanted, and then when you do the grassland, you come back and you swap it back. So you talk to him and you refund the Alice point, you swap it back. I'm about to do the map, so I stay like this. So this is the bigger catch. And yes, make sure you use this wonderful Excel to search the maps you're about to do, because sometimes those maps can be very rare and very juiced up. You don't want to get the wrong ones and also kind of screw yourself up with the raids or the the changes or the hidden things. So this is just to be safe, and I want to warn you guys about this on the first part. And hopefully this makes a better explanation and also give you guys a method to adjust for this. And of course, before we finish, guys, if you're going to play the grassland, I will still go for this knot, definitely, because I have found a bunch of jewelers off just by having this knot on and going for this. It's just that I'm scared that this potentially lower the chances of other currencies if I'm playing the wrong environment. Now that we talk about the first part, the second part is quite interesting as well. So what I was looking at is the rarity increase build and how does this impact your loot. So a lot of our viewers has been sharing with me like, oh, this is so broken with Magic Find and you need to try this. And yes, I have picked up some of the, I guess, the cheaper Magic Find items. You can see this is at 27%, this is at 48%, which is a really good helmet, but doesn't have the ranks I needed. This is at 19%, you can see a bunch of Magic Find items, and my current items do also have Magic Find. So you can see the top implicit and also 8% over here. And I have been asking around with my friends. Some of the endgame friends have crazy good Magic Find items. They actually prioritize this as one of the main stats. So yes, this is not a myth, guys. Magic Find is currently quite broken in Path of Exile 2. And this is one of the reasons, if you have seen our previous video, which we talk about the Magic Find soul cost selling for 4 to 5 divine, or maybe 3 to 4 divine. So they're selling about 300 plus Exalt, 330 Exalt at the moment. This is the reason those Magic Find socket doubled in price in the past few days. And for those of you that haven't seen the video, definitely have a look at this video, which we have a guide and also pretty detailed notes about the calculations. Now here I do want to apologize for some miscalculation. I timed myself for the trial 3, it's about 10 minutes, but trial 4 will take you around 15 minutes, but using Blink will help. And also I do want to give a credits and also long juice shout out to the content creator who also shared this one, and I do believe my viewers actually learned from him. So here I want to give a shout out to
here. Some of you.
So here I do want to give a shout out to Udi Gamer over here, and he has made this one, I guess, way before me, and I do think my friends did learn this from him. So a big shout out to him. So make sure you check out the notes how you can actually be farming for those very expensive items, which will give you 4 to 5 divine. Okay, now coming back to the rarity found. So what is the breakpoint of magic fund rarity or the rarity increase, and when does this really start to show? And asking around, I think most players agree this really starts to show around 200% mark. Now this is not a rule of thumb, you don't have to follow this, and you can see there's a lot of gears with a lot of magic fund in the later game, and this is what players are prioritizing. So players start to notice a much better drop in loots because around 200% it is like 3 times better drop rate. And so if you're running a map in 2 minutes and he's running a map in 5 minutes, he's actually getting better loots than you, even though you're faster with better gears. And I guess this is the biggest takeaway. It is much easier to aim for 200% rarity, and this in return is one of the other ways I was able to get a lot of loots like those, which some can sell for a lot of price. Of course, taking this point away when I'm not using this one. So the second part is, how are the top players doing this? The top in-game players like Fubgun over here, he's running a 400% magic fund Deadeye. So the reasons they do this is, well, this is 5 times more loots. So 200%, 3 times more loots. 400%, 5 times more loots. So their kind of income is doubled compared to the 200% magic fund. But you can see the bigger difference, even though this is like 5% more, right? So, but if you're already having 3% more than most average players, getting another, doubling this is a diminished return, and the rarity, it gets really expensive. So what I recommend as a rule of thumb is, I recommend our viewers going for around 200% magic fund if you can, once your gears are good enough and you can feel the need to go for some additional stats. Firstly, you have to survive. If you can't survive, you don't even get to loot items. Once you can survive and beat map consistently, go for around 200 or 100 magic fund will definitely help you getting better loots. You can follow the top players for 400%, but that is very expensive. Why is that? Is that those rings will sell for many divines, and what they do is they use this particular belt. This increased the rings Affix by another 77%. So instead of saying this is a 59% rarity fund, this is a 100% rarity fund ring with combining with this Uber belt. And this is how some of the in-game players get over 400 or even 600% magic fund, which means they're getting 5 or 7 times better loot than players who's not having the rarity fund. Now, before I jump to the final part, I do want to share this with you guys. One thing to notice that you do not have to just do tier 15 maps. So I want to highlight this tier 16 map, where it's not the chairs part, it is the quantity and also rarity of item part. And the developer has said this will also amplify multiplicatively onto the rarity fund you have on the character. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, sometimes I get this wrong. As I remember in an interview, the developers, Jonathan did mention that those are multiplicative. So if you're looking for maps and if you're farming a pretty juiced map, sometimes it is okay to consider a good rarity map. Then you increase even more modifiers with exalted orbs, and you can even valve it for some spiciness, but you might lose your modifiers. But find maps with increased quantity, increased rarity are the best way to go to get even better loots once you have the magic fund items, and this will help you a lot. Of course, you can go for the towers, which can buff it up. And finally, I do want to say, this is a hidden trick I forgot to mention last time, is that we can also anoint maps. Did you know that you can anoint maps? And when you anoint maps, this will actually give increased rarity fund. This is how endgame players also do this. Those great ones, they cost very cheap, and notice that they will make us delirious, which makes us weaker, but in return, this gives you even higher rarity fund. So before you do your maps, before you valve them, you can even anoint maps for even better rarity fund to give you even better loots. Now, hopefully this video explained the importance and also the concerns we have with local knowledge and also how you can adjust this. Again, big shout out and also thank you for Fubgun for teaching us about this concern, and also my friend CB for sharing this one. Now, we're not 100% confirmed, guys. If you know about this, let me know so I can stop unperking and also perking this one when I do different maps, which cost me 5,000 gold. And second part, yes, magic rarity, very important. You need to learn the basics and also get into it. Aim for 200% magic rarity after your gears are ready. And finally, I want to say a big shout out and also thank you to some of our viewers who has been donating me and also supporting me financially. This is a massive thing for me because I'm always so passionate in sharing, in learning with any game I play, but sometimes I kind of burn myself out. And with the support from you guys, I can try to make this a full-time job and be less stressed about it. Sometimes I work very hard, not only because I'm passionate, but I'm also very stressed. The rent in Sydney is actually quite expensive. You have no idea how much I'm paying for rent. So yes, thank you again guys for supporting me through donations and also supporting me through Patreon. I do have a Patreon page. Yes, I'm shameless, Matt. Yes, I just updated the Patreon page for the background for PoE2, and the links are below if you do want to support me financially. And again, I want to say a big thank you for all of the viewers, whether you're supporting me financially or just watching the videos, leaving a nice comment, or just liking the videos will help a lot. And thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll be looking forward to bring you the best guides, the tips, and also builds for Path of Exile as we learn the game together and also discover everything with early access all the way up to launch. Now, before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.